What's up YouTube? It's JB Tech Fanatic and I'm back again with another video. As always, I want to start this video by thanking each of you for joining me. And if you have not yet subscribed, I'd be so honored if you'd consider. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to share this video and hit that thumbs up. And if you want to know when the latest content is available, don't forget to turn those notifications to on. We're back with the all-new Samsung Q90T. This is part 2 to my series. I want to make that very clear because part 1 I went through setup, the exact specifications of the television. In part 2 we are going to look at the picture settings as well as I'm going to give you my honest review. Now it has taken me a little bit of time to complete this because of my health and because I wanted to give an honest opinion about the performance of this TV. Now, starting from the beginning, when I first received the television, I was unsure. And this is someone that is a massive Samsung QLED fan. It is a television that I have pretty much bought almost every series for the last several years. And of course, their new 8K series is my favorite television. So here I am competing now with kind of getting used to the higher performance of the 8K, thinking that maybe I would be let down by the 4K. And the main reason why is because I'm sure you've heard Samsung, for whatever reason, lowered the dimming zones in this year's Q9. Now, this is definitely one of those situations where specs don't always mean the product is better. Now, let me just tell you a few things before we start. One, if you're looking to get all the specifications, I will put up some screenshots. However, definitely check out part 1. This review is based off of my opinion and my experiences. This in no way means this is the only good TV on the market and that there isn't other TVs that you might enjoy. However, I really wanted to capture the usability and I really thought about what does the average consumer look for in a TV and what do they want for their dollar. Now, Samsung did something this year with the Q90T and the MSRP was almost $1,000 less than last year's. However, as I started to talk about before, they did something that really made me believe that I would not recommend this TV. That is, they lowered the dimming zones to around 96 from over 400. Now that is something that I thought Samsung shouldn't have done, and I really thought it would ruin the experience. However, I stand corrected because Samsung has mastered, one, their AI technology, their metadata, their algorithm. I mean, everything about this TV screams beautiful, if you would. I personally have not seen any difference, and that is a substantial amount of dimming zones less. That tells me that specs don't mean everything. Now, I wanted to point out a few things that I did not like. There's not many, but it's important to remember that no TV is perfect. The first thing is dirty screen effect. Now, if you don't know what that means, if the screen is panning, you might see almost, it looks like some brown streaks. Now, I only see it, if I was to put a number on it, about 10% of the time. But again, this is something that a lot of LCD, LED TVs suffer from, but it is something that I would like to see go away one day. And the second thing is the One Connect box. The European model does have the One Connect box. For some reason, they did not put it in this model. Now, having said all that, considering that they started it $1,000 less, let's talk about the performance. And of course, the build quality. The build quality is superior to most, honestly. It's heavy duty, but not overly heavy. You have virtually no bezel, and I love the one remote. Now, this has the ability to, of course, be mounted on the wall any way you'd like, or you can mount it to look like a photo frame. Other than that, we have a ton of features. First and foremost, I believe that this is one of the best gaming TVs available in 4K. Samsung gave us an HDMI 2.1 port, which will of course support 4K at 120 frames per second, as well as an eARC port. Now, of course, as a consumer, I would say why not make all of the HDMI ports HDMI 2.1, but at least we got one of them. Next, the speakers that are built into the TV. They are actually very superior to most basic TV's speakers. And let me explain why. So what makes the audio in a TV better than another one? Well, first we have 4.2.2 with a 60 watt output. But really what makes the difference here is that they have a technology, object tracking sound, Q sympathy, adaptive sound plus, and active voice amplifier. Had to read that so I said it all right. However, what that means is your TV actually adapts to the environment and it actually works very well. So as an example, I know you've probably been there. If you have a fan running, it literally takes the performance of the audio where you can't hear voice or whatever it might be, the TV will adjust based off the environment and adapt to that and make sure that you can hear what you want to hear. And the great thing is it actually works. Now let's talk about the HDR. Now, so we're clear, there's 4K and there's HDR. Then we have Dolby Vision, which right now, unfortunately, no Samsung TV has Dolby Vision, but they have HDR10 Plus. Now, HDR10 Plus is in competition with Dolby Vision. A lot of people get confused and think HDR and Dolby Vision are exactly the same thing. However, they're not. The metadata is much closer for Dolby Vision and HDR10 Plus. So I would love to have Dolby Vision. However, it's kind of a battle right now. Hopefully they'll unify. The way I look at it is almost like HD DVD versus Blu-ray, almost the same difference. Anyway, this has HDR10 Plus, but the HDR is beautiful. This TV is so bright and vivid, and it has deep, dark, inky blacks. Now, of course, OLED will always have the darkest blacks, at least for now, but you cannot take out the fact that the brightness on these TVs, the vividness, the colors that really pop, you know, you kind of got to look at a TV in all aspects. For me, this hits on all cylinders. The HDR looks beautiful. The 1080p looks beautiful. Even old content, 480p up converted. The TV does a great job of making it look great. Now, does 480p look as good as 4K? No, but I have seen some instances, like if I'm watching a Blu-ray and the TV up converts to 4K, where at times it looks almost the same. So the TV absolutely shines and performs extremely well in all aspects that you, the consumer, would want to view. Whether it be a bright room or a dark room, you're always going to get a perfect picture. So the usability of a TV is so important. And also the way that manufacturers do things are so different, it is normally very hard for a consumer to adjust. Like as an example, if I have always owned Samsung TVs and I bought a Sony, I would have a hard time adjusting to the algorithm or the overall layout of the TV. The reason why I bring this up is I have noticed, even when, and I'm not saying Vizio is a bad TV, but I have seen fully spec'd out Vizio TVs, and even if you take away a few of the specs in a Samsung TV, in my opinion, it outperforms. Now, the ecosystem starts to play, I think, majorly into this. With Samsung, they have really built an ecosystem where everything Samsung brand works so fluid together. Now, of course, for those of you that love Apple products, Apple at this time doesn't make TVs, but we do have Apple AirPlay. Now, that is great to have, and when they announced that, I think it was last year's model was the first time they did it. It was something that shocked me because typically Samsung and Apple don't get along too well. But the reason why I'm talking about this right now is the benefit if you're going to buy a Samsung TV, to buy a Samsung phone, the stakes keep going up, if you will. You get features that work so fluidly that it might be time to switch. Now, we're going to show you some of the different things that you can do with a Samsung device in the TV. But what I wanted to say is the overall layout, the operating system of Tizen, fast, fluid, it's snappy, it doesn't lag. I love it. In fact, I like it so much, I honestly can't stand most other operating systems on televisions. So in that aspect, there's a definite increase in performance, usability, and I love it. We are running software version 1403. If you cannot get your TV to update, you can actually download the update from Samsung's website and put it onto your television manually. Now, the intelligent mode, this is something I don't use it all the time. I was unsure about it. However, I found that it works very well. It really does adapt to your environment through the Adaptive Sound Plus, the Active Voice Amplifier, and then of course the Adaptive Pitcher. Now, the volume you can also do for gaming. This is great also, but all in all, it works very, very well, kind of surprisingly to me. Next thing that we have, thank the Lord, is voice assistants, but we get the choice of either Google, Alexa, or Bixby. This is great because basically we always only had Bixby. And of course, I'm a big Google fan with assistants, and it's nice to have it on your television so you can control your home through your TV, not only through Samsung SmartThings, but also through Google. Samsung, of course, as mentioned before, has pulled out all the stops for gaming. We have a quick toggle here. You also have auto low latency, auto game mode. Now, what's great about this is you can also adjust the picture right from there. Remember, input signal plus you want to have on, HDMI black level you want that on low. And then of course, with these game settings, they really give us all kinds of cool options, but we got VRR FreeSync. This is definitely a gaming TV that you want if you are getting the latest systems. And just a reminder, we got the lowest 9.8 millisecond input lag, and then FreeSync Premium, immersive 3D sound. And this is supposed to really use that object tracking sound, which is called OTS. It's supposed to let you hear your opponents coming and then immerse yourself better, of course, in your gaming, and it actually does a great job. Now, a lot of people have read, or maybe you own this TV and you're having ads pop up. That is extremely frustrating, and everyone thinks that you can't get rid of them. So I wanted to show you how to do that. Go ahead, open up your menu and go to settings. Now that we're in settings, scroll down to the bottom where it says terms and privacy, and then go ahead and click privacy choices. Once you click that, you can actually click do not sell my personal information, and then click on the terms and conditions. Once you do that, this will let you shut those ads off or keep them on depending on what you want. As you notice, I have unchecked everything. Most people might, agree to all. I just keep the voice recognition because I use it. Everything else I uncheck, go ahead and hit OK, and you will see those ads disappear. This is a great thing that a lot of people don't realize is there. Next, another thing that I've really grown to love, when you're in your menu settings, and you press down, you can scroll through a lot of different categories. But as you can see, free movies. These movies are actually deals that they have worked out with Samsung. You can go to the respective site and watch these movies for free. These are, really are updated daily, and sometimes they have fairly new and really good movies. Otherwise, this kind of localizes and put everything in one place, makes everything easy to find and scroll through, and I love it. One of the best things about having a Samsung TV and a Samsung ecosystem is Samsung SmartThings. You have full control on your television right here. Right from my TV screen, I can view my cameras, including my Ring doorbell. I can open and close my garage, lock my front door, check my refrigerator, start my washer, dryer, or vacuum. Of course, you can turn lights on and off. This is great to have in one place. It works fast, fluid, and we really enjoy it. And honestly, we use it a lot. Next, they built in is something that, of course, a lot of you use a lot. If you have a Galaxy Watch 3 or any of the Samsung Galaxy Wear, they incorporated the Health app. Samsung Health is an all-in-one ecosystem that is now synced with your TV. They give you, workouts. They help you, stay fit by challenging you, keep track of everything as far as your calories and so on and so forth, as well as giving you special apps like Calm to help you relax. I just like that, if you're on the go and you want a quick check, maybe you're watching the morning news, you have it right there on your TV, and it actually works very well. And of course, it all syncs through the cloud. So if you wanted to count your steps, track your heart rate, your blood pressure, and all the other great stuff that the Galaxy Watch can do, you can also view it and manage it right here on your QLED Q90T. Of course, you still have a full web browser, which is nice if you'd like to surf the World Wide Web. Just kidding. But it's built in right there on your TV. And then everything that you could possibly want is here. We got Disney Plus, Hulu, Prime Video, Netflix, Google Play Movies, and so on and so forth. I also like that the one remote will control anything that is turned on and plugged in to the television, as well as give you a nice app box at the bottom. And then of course, if you want to know what kind of specs you got running through, all you would do is click the box. Sorry, it's all the way over to the right now, but the Xbox. When I do that, you'll see it'll pop up on the top and it will tell you what we are running. That's how you can find out the information. Moving on, re-looking at this quick toggle, I wanted to point out something. If you scroll all the way over here, you have everything on a quick toggle, but what you can do here is go to device care, and this will keep everything snappy for you. Simply, it will check your device, let you know of any issues. You simply would hit start device care. It will kill all apps that are running in the background and fix all remaining issues to make sure everything is fast and fluid. It's a real fast process, does everything for you. Ambient mode. As you can see, ambient mode has turned into something special. They have, your routine, special edition, relaxation, decor, your own photo album. You can have, a clock, calendar, whatever you want. It's just beautiful. It really makes your TV really stand out. You can sync your Galaxy device when you walk into the room. It will automatically turn on. And of course, you have no burn-in possibility because this is not an OLED television. But one of my favorite things is the music wall.
This is one of the coolest things that this has as an extra added feature, if you will. As you can see, the song and my phone on the screen. You can simply hit next, switch the song, as well as what's being displayed. This, of course, goes to the beat of the music. It makes a great eye catcher for any party. It's easily connected to your phone and it works great, and it's just really cool. Samsung has a multi-view experience. You can have your mobile device to the right and play your game on the left. You can also flip it to different sides. They give you the ability to not only change the screen size and the position, you can also pick which sound output you want. This is great for you gamers or anyone that wants to multitask with their TV. It works great, and it's just something that I really enjoy. Give you a quick look at the ultra viewing angle. This is a TV that has a anti-reflective coating, but we are dead center now. I'm going to keep going to the right so you can kind of get an idea of how much vividness the TV keeps as you go to the side. As you can see, we are all the way over. Going back, this TV does a great job. Remember, this does have an anti-reflective coating, and also just a note, some people have asked about rainbowing effect. I have two Q90 panels. I have no rainbowing effect on either of them. I'm not sure where those videos came from on YouTube, but I can say my TVs at least, that has not been an issue, and this does great on ultra viewing angle, left or right, dead center. It looks beautiful from everywhere. We also have filmmaker mode. Now, this is something that's pretty new. The benefits of this is it will give you the most accurate image that your TV can produce. This will preserve the TV's full contrast ratio, so those blacks look black and the whites look white, but those fine details remain in the shadow and bright highlights. Colors still appear rich and accurate, but they are not unnaturally vibrant. This is how these filmmakers really wanted these movies to look. I did mess with the settings a little bit. This is more or less one of those things you can kind of turn on and leave it alone. But for those of you that are wondering, these are my settings in front of you: 30, 50, 0 sharpness, color 28. And then if you go down here, you can see that I have the shadow detail to -5. Other than that, we keep it at a warm 2 and a gamma of .1886. For the sake of time, I just want to let you know there are several things I never change. One, no matter what kind of source, I recommend Eco Solution, all of it being shut to off except for auto power off. Also, in External Device Manager, HDMI CEC needs to always be on. Input Signal Plus needs to have all of them checked to on. And anytime you can, HDMI black level needs to be set to low. I also recommend the picture size settings to be 16:9 standard with fit to screen to on. Now, we're going to start with 4K HDR standard mode. Brightness 46, contrast 50, sharpness 8, color 29. Picture clarity, set that to auto. Finally, this actually causes no unwanted soap opera effect. I leave it on auto. It does a great job of deciding when it needs it and when it doesn't. Local dimming, set that to high. Contrast enhancer on high. And then your gamma is the 2084, +1, shadow detail -5, and the color space settings to native. Now this is for standard. Moving on to dynamic setting. Brightness 50, contrast 50, sharpness 12, color 33. We have picture clarity to auto still, local dimming to standard. Contrast enhancer high, color tone to cool, shadow detail to -5. Moving on to natural. We have 50, 50, 9, 26, auto picture clarity settings. Picture clarity settings, is auto. Local dimming standard, contrast enhancer low,
keep that color tone on standard, and shadow detail, I actually recommend that at -2. Moving on to movie mode. Now, for those of you that like the most realistic look, this is not something I prefer, but these are my settings for movie. Brightness to 50, contrast to 50, sharpness to 0, color 23. And then we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go to picture clarity settings, click that, go to custom, and turn on noise reduction to auto, turn blur reduction and judder reduction to 0. You can make two different choices here. You can decide if you are, have a really picky eye and you want it to be a little more smoother, turn on LED clear motion and then just leave the settings as is. But for this, keep that off. We're just going to turn exactly to how you see in front of you. Noise reduction auto, LED off, judder and blur to 0. Pop back out. We have local dimming on standard. Shut the contrast enhancer to off. Color tone, you want that on warm to. And then you can see my gamma settings. We have the ST 2084 to +2, shadow detail to -5, and the color space settings is auto instead of native. Okay, now this is for if you have a cable box. I have Dish Network as example. For everyday viewing, I recommend setting your TV to standard, going into the expert settings, setting brightness to 48, contrast 50, sharpness to 5, color 31, keep picture clarity on auto, local dimming to high, contrast enhancer, you're bumping that down to low, standard color tone, we have the gamma at 2084 at an even 0, shadow detail -5, and then your color space settings back to native. Next, for everyday viewing like cable, if you like a dynamic mode, my settings for that would be brightness 50, contrast 50, sharpness 8, color 33, picture clarity settings again stays on auto, local dimming to low, and shut the contrast enhancer off. Try color tone on a cool instead of standard, and then drop the shadow detail to -5. Then we have straight 4K on dynamic, expert settings, quickly 50 brightness, contrast 50, sharpness 11, color 34. As you can see, local dimmings on high, contrast enhancers on high, kept the color tone on cool, shadow detail -5, and the color space will stay at native. Next, standard 4K non-HDR, expert settings. We got 48, 50, sharpness at 5, 31 color, local dimming high, contrast enhancer low, and as you can see the rest here, -5 shadow detail, and this 2084 actually needs to be bumped back up to +1. And then of course color space is on native. And lastly, I'm going to give you movie. This is again for any high quality content, 1080p, 4K. I really don't change it. You can even use this for HDR content, but brightness 50, contrast 50, sharpness 0, color 20. Keep picture clarity on auto instead of going to custom. Local dimming high, contrast enhancer off, color tone at a warm 2. And then what you're going to want to do is change the gamma to -1, and then keep the shadow detail at -5, and then the color space on auto. Game mode settings. We're going to start with the Xbox X. First thing you want to do is shut off Eco Solution completely, and then go to your external device manager. In the external device manager, HDMI CEC, turn it on, go to Input Signal Plus. Now, here is probably one of the most important things that you got to do. Whatever HDMI you use for gaming, make sure that these are turned on. I recommend them being turned on for anything that's of high quality. But
HDMI 4 is a true 2.1 HDMI cable. It's going to be better for the Xbox X if you have to, decide between PlayStation 4 Pro and Xbox X, which one you want to connect to HDMI 4. I would say use the Xbox X, but that's up to you. Definitely when you get the new consoles, you're going to want to use HDMI 4. So as soon as that's on, back out, go up to game mode settings, go ahead and turn this to on or to auto. I prefer to just be on. Auto will pick it up when, a game is playing, it'll turn on and shut off when it's not. The only thing I don't like about that is it turns on and off a lot. I prefer to keep it on if I know I'm gaming. The surround sound feature, now this is a special feature for gaming that Samsung offers. Intelligent scene-based 3D surround sound. It actually does make a pretty cool difference. I like it. And turn your dynamic black equalizer to 5. Up to you. Intelligent mode settings, I actually set that to off when I game. Totally up to you if you want to use it. Set 16:9 standard and set fit to screen to on. Brightness 41, contrast 50, sharpness 7, color 33. Local dimming, set it to high, contrast enhancer low. Color tone, it's up to you. I pick standard. You can see my gamma. I have that set to +1, shadow detail to -2, and the color space to native. Then of course, for those that you like to know these things, you can switch to the 120 Hertz if you'd like at 1080p, or keep it on 60 Hertz at 4K. And then you can see what this TV is compatible with. As you can see, it's a true 10-bit television, and it pretty much covers everything except it does not support Dolby Vision. Now I'll give you a quick look at this beautiful piece of art here. This is seriously one of the best gaming TVs ever made. Samsung has done a great job with that. It has an input lag of 9.8 seconds. Of course, it has VRR, and with that HDMI 2.1, it's capable of 4K at 120 Hertz. But just like to move it around so you can see, but you don't see it dragging, you don't see it losing detail. A lot of you have questions about ghosting. I do not have any problems with it ghosting at all, not even with PS4. And again, I'm going to show you those settings now. All right, PlayStation 4 Pro settings. Now, these are actually going to be quite different. What I want you to do is go ahead and go into your game mode settings. Keep the surround sound on, keep the game mode on. Change the dynamic black equalizer to 3. Go into your game mode settings, and I want you to turn LED clear motion to on, and then turn down your judder to 0. Blur reduction will disappear, but make sure this is 0. Picture size and fit to screen the same. Brightness to 50, contrast 50, sharpness 10, color 32. Local dimming high, contrast enhancer high. Color mode, I leave it on standard or cool, up to you. Gamma 2.2 in this case. Shadow detail, drop it to -3. And then color space, keep that to native. In the PlayStation 4 Pro video output settings, put resolution to automatic. This will cause you problems if you try to force a resolution. What happens is, if you put it on, let's just say 2160p RGB, and something is not capable of putting that out, like an old game or whatever, it will normally degrade the picture, or your screen will go black. It just causes problems, and it also, I have found, causes ghosting. Change this to automatic. You can, of course, change RGB range to full, and everything else I have on automatic. Once those settings are complete, give you a quick look here. You will see no ghosting. Keeps its vivid detail, even with fast motion. Absolutely stunning. Also, quick note, a lot of you will ask, what do I do different if I'm playing an HDR game versus a non-HDR game? And honestly, I don't change any settings except for the brightness sometimes. Once I have it locked in, I pretty much keep it there, but that's kind of personal preference. I mean, sometimes you want to go max brightness when it's an HDR, but this is such a bright TV, so it's not something that you normally have to worry about. I've set my settings and I leave them. And as you can see, it's a great gaming TV. To go over my initial settings with the brand new Xbox Series X, I wanted to show you this is fully compatible. As you can see here, we can get a full 4K at 120 frames per second. Yes, you've heard that right, 120 frames per second. When you back out, you will now find with this console and the Q90, you can keep the resolution at full 4K and 120 Hertz, which again allows you to get this. Now, you should have all green check marks with the exception of Dolby Vision. To maximize the settings, make sure you have the latest software, 1403. Next, under External Device Manager, make sure that your console is plugged in, input signal plus is turned on. Turn the HDMI black level to low. Go to your game mode settings. Make sure to turn game mode on. I use their surround sound. The dynamic black equalizer, I put that to 5. 16.9 or 16 by 9 standard with fit to screen on. Here's my settings: brightness 50, contrast 50, sharpness 10, color 37, local dimming on high, contrast enhancer on high, color tone standard. And then as you can see, we have shadow detail at -5, and then don't touch the gamma, and then color space settings, keep it at native. Now, once you click your Xbox icon on the corner here, you can see we are at VRR 119 Hertz. It is ready to go. And let me just tell you, so far it's amazing. Again, more to come in part 3. Another mode that is kind of new with the software update is HGIG. This will set the optimum picture quality according to the brightness of the HDR game content. You might ask, what is this? So it can be found in the settings menu, of course, as I just showed you. Enabling HGIG will ensure that the tone mapping adheres to the HGIG's specification for console games in HDR. So what does this mean? This means that the tone mapping will not be done twice, first on console and then on the TV. This is something that I have turned on when I play HDR games. Now that we are pretty much set to go, on the quick toggle menu, you should now be able to see VRR and HDR. You know that you are basically running at maximum capacity, if you will. One more time, we'll click on the Xbox. Up top, we'll see that we got everything running we want.
But what's the verdict? Should you buy the Samsung Q90? And should you upgrade if you have the Q90 OR from last year? First, if you have the Q90R, I really don't see any real need to upgrade this year. I honestly, if I were you, would wait until 2021 or maybe even 2022. All other circumstances, should you upgrade to this TV, or if you're looking to come to Samsung from another brand, should you get the Q90T? The answer is yes. Picture quality, 1 out of 10. I would give it an 8. Gaming ability, 1 out of 10. I would give it a 9. Usability and user interface, I would give it a 9 out of 10. As far as the remote and the usability of the remote, I love the remote. I would give that an 8 out of 10. And the only reason why is that Samsung did not give the premium TV, the metal remote that I love, especially from my Q900 TS. Now, the sound on the TV, I would rate that
an 8 out of 10. I have to remember that these are TV speakers. They, of course, are no sound bar, but they did a great job. Bluetooth usability, Wi-Fi usability, I would have to give you a 9 out of 10. I have noticed one that you get extremely fast Wi-Fi speeds, great streaming for, Vudu, Netflix, Hulu, all the good stuff. But one thing that Samsung didn't do is put Bluetooth 5.0. I'm not sure. That's why I give it that score. Overall look, I actually would give this TV a 10 out of 10. I think it's a beautiful TV. If you hang it on the wall, it looks perfect. Remember, because it's a PHOLED TV, which it has the dimming zones, it's going to be a little thicker, but again, on the wall, it looks beautiful. So this is a definite must, and I will say it is my favorite 4K TV of 2020 and is certainly worth the price it's going for today. And I would go out and grab one if you're looking to buy a TV, you need one. And if you're buying the Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, this is a must-have TV. It's a definite buy.
That pretty much wraps up part 2 of the all-new Samsung Q90. Don't worry, we got part 3 coming. Don't forget to turn those notifications on so you know when it's available. As always, I'd like to slow things down for a moment and remind you life is so short. Don't forget to love your family. Love your neighbors, your friends, take care of each other. Go out today and do a small act of kindness. The smallest act can go such a long way. Remember, I do YouTube for you and you only. If you need me, I'm here. Come follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at JBTechFanatic. Reach out to me anytime in the comments section. I will help you. If I missed anything in this video, I will try to help you the best I can. I want to invite you to subscribe one last time, say thank you for checking this video out. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and to share it with your friends. I can't wait to talk to you in the comments section and see you in the next video. And until then, I'm JB Tech Fanatic and I'm out. Peace.